let go and you got in the flow, when it was just easy? What would that look like to stop paddling upstream and instead to put the paddle at the bottom of the boat and allow the stream to just take you where it will? What would that be like? Requires going with the flow, actually requires letting go of control. And it necessitates bold action, the courage to allow something other than you to dictate the direction and how and where you travel. That's hard for most of us. It really is. Going with the flow, getting in the flow, it's an act of trust. Trust in your own intuition, your own inner guidance. Trust in the universe that if you let the universe take care of you, that you're going to go where you're supposed to go and end up where you are supposed to end up, that you'll get to the right destination. That takes a lot of trust. And I think about this a lot because this last year has really shown me how I haven't trusted. And I see how hard it is for me to let go of control and to really trust that the universe is going to take me where I need to go. So this for me is a lesson, and I am recording this video on New Year's Eve 2020 and thinking about the new year and what I would like to do, who I'd like to be. And I would like to be that person who has trust in my inner guidance, trust in guidance from the universe, and trust in the universe that if I release my grip on everything, a few things in particular, that I won't be dashed against the rocks, that I will go with the current, and that would be so much easier and a relief. I mean, think about it. What a relief to just let go and stop controlling everything. So this is something I'm working on, and something that I'm talking about in my Inspired Creator community, where we are trying to create our lives as, you know, in alignment with what our soul desires, in alignment with the universe, in alignment with guidance, in alignment with the things we know that feed our souls, to show up and do our work in the world, to fulfill our purpose. And so for me, this is huge, to learn how to trust that guidance, to trust the universe, to get in the flow, to allow myself to be in the flow, because it's really an allowing and a letting go. So this reminded me, when I started thinking about this, I was reminded of a story that comes from Richard Bach's book, Illusion. So you can't really see it because I have the white copy with nothing on it, but there you can see Richard Bach, Illusions. And at the very beginning, he tells the story. So the book is called Illusions, the Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. And he tells a story in the beginning about this reluctant Messiah. But as part of that, there's another story in a story about a bunch of creatures living at the bottom of a river. And I'm going to read it to you. So I hope you'll indulge me in this. It's one of my favorite stories. And I remember after reading this book, reading it to my, reading this story to my mother, and I was just so taken with it. And I think it's super pertinent. So here we go. Once there lived a village of creatures along the bottom of a great crystal river. The current of the river swept silently over them all, young and old, rich and poor, good and evil, the current going its own way, knowing only its own crystal self. Each creature in its own manner clung tightly to the twigs and rocks of the river bottom, for clinging was their way of life, and resisting the current, what each had learned from birth. But one creature said, at last, I am tired of clinging. Though I cannot see it with my eyes, I trust that the current knows where it is going. I shall let go and let it take me where it will. Clinging, I shall die of boredom. The other creatures laughed and said, Fool, let go, and that current you worship will throw you tumbled and smashed across the rocks, and you will die quicker than boredom. But the one heeded them not, and taking a breath, did let go, and at once was tumbled and smashed by the current across the rocks. Yet in time, as the creature refused to cling again, the current lifted him free from the bottom, and he was bruised and hurt no more. And the creatures downstream, to whom he was a stranger, cried, See, a miracle! A creature like ourselves, yet he flies. See the Messiah come to save us all. And the one carried in the current said, I am no more Messiah than you. The river delights to lift us free, if only we dare to let go. Our true work is this voyage, this adventure. But they cried the more, Savior, all the while clinging to the rocks. And when they looked again, he was gone, and they were left alone, making legends of a savior. So I'm not talking here about being a savior or being seen as a savior. I'm talking about that this is our true work here. To stop clinging, to stop controlling, to stop hanging on, and to let go. Let go and allow ourselves to be lifted by the river of life, of the universe. Because that is the flow. The flow is in the universe. And if we don't allow ourselves to be guided by and allow ourselves to go with that flow, we're just clinging and controlling. And clinging comes from fear. So we need to flow into that adventure. We need to be, like a miracle, but it's not a miracle. And so I want to encourage you this year to let go, And it's true, at first you might indeed have to learn how to do that, how to get up from the bottom where you're being, where you're being, joggled along with all the rocks and debris at the bottom. You might hit a few rocks or be tossed along the bottom or the shore when you start out, just as Richard Bach says in this story. But eventually you will learn to be part of the current, part of the flow. And that's the key here. And I know this, and no, don't have it yet. I haven't figured out how to be in the flow yet, but that, as I said, is my task, my adventure this year. And I would love to challenge you for it to be yours, and to stop feeling as if you must control every aspect of your life. Most of it you can't control anyway. Think about it. We've had a pandemic. We can't control that. We can only control, what's right around us. Mostly we can only control us, to be honest. Right? Somebody said to me recently, if you put a hula hoop around, and stepped on the ground and you stepped into it, the only thing you control is what's within the hula hoop. And that's primarily you. So think about what you're controlling. What are you controlling in your life or trying to control? Because again, the semblance of control it's just that, it's a semblance. So where in your life do you feel the lack of control? That's one thing to look at when we try to discern, where are we controlling? Where in your life do you feel you lack control? Because maybe that's a sign that you need to let go there and trust and see where the current takes you. Where do you wish you had more control? So a lot of us want to control other people or situations, and we can't do that. We can only control ourselves. So where are you trying to control something that's really out of your control? You can control your decisions. You can control where you focus your attention, for instance, but you may not be able to control anything that's external to you. Where are you clinging to a place, a person, a situation, afraid of what will happen if you let go? These are all places for you to attempt this year. Just attempt. I want you to do it, to be the person who lets go, who is that creature who says, I can't live this way any longer, trying to control and cling. To be that person and do that thing, which is to let go and trust and be courageous and trust. So I misspoke a minute ago because I don't want you to try. I don't want you to consider. I want you to do. So, that's how you let go. So the question comes up for me and anyone else, how do you actually let go? How do you open your hands and release and go with the flow? How do you trust that? Well, we go back to Yoda, right? Yoda, who said, do or do not do, there is no try. He said that in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. It's been repeated over and over again. Do or do not, there is no try. So we do it. We just let go. Now, you may be afraid to do this, right? And that's the biggest part of this, is we're in fear. I know for myself, it feels super scary in areas of my life to just go with the flow, to let go and stop clinging and stop controlling. But you can choose one small area of your life. It doesn't have to be some big, huge thing. You don't have to let go of your job. You don't have to necessarily let go of your relationship, but you can stop clinging to them and allow it to do what it's going to do. If that's too big, though, you can choose something small, like allowing yourself to relax, allowing yourself to have some joy, right? It's a matter of letting go of something you're trying to control. And so those weren't the best examples. So let's say you're trying to control your dog, right? Your dog is doing things you don't like. You're trying to control him all the time, and he's probably rebelling and not listening to you or getting scared of you. And what would happen if you just stopped controlling that? Allowed him to be himself. You could say the same of a person. What if you stopped controlling your employees or your children or your spouse? What if you stopped trying to control them and you just controlled yourself and your reactions to them? Create some responses rather than reactions to them. Or the clinging part. Maybe you're clinging to a relationship or a job that isn't working for you, and you're hanging on to it because you're so afraid of what will happen if you let go. And that's not serving you. That's not being in the flow. But that could feel like a big thing, to stop clinging to a relationship or to a job or whatever. So maybe you try something smaller, like maybe you've been clinging to a bunch of stuff in your house and you decide to do a house cleaning and throw a bunch of things away or give them away. Or you've been clinging to a habit like eating ice cream every night, and you decide to stop clinging to that and let it go because it doesn't serve you, right? Usually we're clinging to the things we're afraid to let go of. And ice cream sounds like a funny one, but the fact is that your mind doesn't know the difference between, well, what it knows is that that's your habit, is to eat ice cream every night. And not eating ice cream every night feels scary to your subconscious mind. And so you cling to that habit because it feels scary not to have it. And that could be because you do that to make yourself feel better emotionally, right? So think about where you're clinging to things, clinging to anything, your old clothes, your habits that don't serve you, your eating, certain foods that you won't get rid of, relationships, jobs, people that you're clinging to and not letting go of. There's a fear there somewhere. But the big thing here is, the big challenge for you is to, even if it's something small, to let go, to stop clinging and allow yourself to go with the flow. For me, part of this is guidance, feeling feeling guided. A lot of times we don't feel guided, and it's because we're so busy controlling and clinging that we don't hear the guidance. We don't feel it, like intuition, and then we don't follow it. And following it requires letting go and trusting that the guidance we have is real and is useful and will keep us safe. We don't trust that. And so we don't want to let go and go with the flow. But I really do believe that the universe will take care of us. I believe that if we listen to guidance, we end up where we need to go, and we're taken care of along the way. What's supposed to happen to us is going to happen, and we'll learn the lessons we're supposed to learn, and we'll end up where we're supposed to be. So again, I'm working with this because there's some areas where I have been clinging and controlling, and I'm letting go. That's a big thing for me this year, is getting in the flow, and trusting that flow. So I challenge you to do the same, and to see what that does for your new year. I'm really interested to see what it does for mine. So I'm Nina Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation Coach. You can find out all about me at ninaamir.com. I'm a high performance coach, a certified high performance coach, one of 800 in the world. I am a law of attraction coach. I'm an author coach. People know me though as the Inspiration to Creation Coach, and I'm all about that, about inspiring you and motivating you to step into your best self, to be the kind of person who can create what you want in the world, because we are creative beings, and it's how we show up in the world and where we're focused and the actions we take that allow us to create whatever we want, our dreams. And so for you, the new year, what I want for you is for you to go out there and to manifest your dreams. I do. And part of that requires you trusting yourself, trusting your inspiration, trusting your passion, trusting your guidance. And so if that's something that you need help with, I would love for you to join the Inspired Creator community, where all us seekers, as I say, are creating lives that feed our souls. We're working on our personal and our spiritual growth so that we can trust, so that we can create what we want, so that we can be in the flow, so that we can hear our guidance, that we get out of our own way and we allow ourselves to create what we really are meant to be doing here and who we're meant to be. So that link is up above, the Inspired Creator community. I would love to have you join. If you're interested in one-on-one personal growth work with a little bit of a spiritual twist, you can also fill out the application that's above for a one-on-one breakthrough strategy session. And that's on me. It's free. And I would love to spend the time with you and get to know you and give you some tips and tools you can use right away to move yourself towards your 2021 goals. So that's it for today. I wish you a very, very happy new year. And as always, especially now in the new year, go out there and achieve more inspired results.